Hello everyone, a warm welcome to you all on this channel. Today we are going to work on active and passive voice, which is frequently asked under transformation of sentences. Before we begin, a request to you, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you find my videos useful. Let us begin. First of all, we need to learn how to identify a sentence as being either in the active voice or in the passive voice. So how do you know if a sentence is in the active voice? It's very simple. If the sentence is in the active voice, then we will see that the subject in the sentence is the doer of the action. For example, Ramesh sent me an email last evening. So here we can see clearly that Ramesh is the subject and the rest of the sentence is the predicate. So we see Ramesh is the subject, he is doing the action. What is the action that he is doing? He has sent me an email last evening. Sent is the verb, that is the action which is being done by Ramesh. In the same way, when the action is being done to the subject, we can easily make out that the sentence is in the passive voice. For example, a parcel was received by me in the evening. So here a parcel is the subject and the rest of the sentence is the predicate. So the subject is a parcel to whom the action is being done. What action was received? Was received is the verb or the action which is taking place and it is being done to the parcel. So that is why it is in the passive voice. Now let us look at a few more examples. An example of active voice. Mr. Bond will escort the Queen to the ceremony. So in this sentence we can see that Mr. Bond is the subject, will escort the Queen to the ceremony. This is the predicate. Now, Mr. Bond is the subject and he is the doer of the action. What action is he doing? He is escorting the Queen. So, will escort, that is the verb, and it is the action that Mr. Bond is doing. So, the subject is doing the action. Hence, it is the active voice. Now, the same sentence can be transformed into the passive voice. The Queen will be escorted to the ceremony by Mr. Bond. So, over here, the subject is the Queen. Will be escorted to the ceremony by Mr. Bond. That is the predicate. So immediately we see that the Queen becomes the subject, that is the receiver of the action. So now the action is being done to her, to the subject. What is the action that is being done? She is being escorted to the ceremony. So will be escorted is the verb, that is the action which is being done to the Queen. The child presented a bouquet to the chief guest. So over here, the child is the subject. Presented a bouquet to the chief guest is the predicate. The child is the subject and the doer of the action. What action is the child doing? Presenting a bouquet to the chief guest. So presented is the verb and this verb, this action is being performed by the child. Now the same sentence we want to transform into passive voice. We've transformed it like this. A bouquet was presented to the chief guest by the child. So over here, a bouquet becomes the subject. The rest of the sentence becomes the predicate. And now we can, by reading the sentence, we can easily make out that this is a sentence where the action is being done upon the subject. So a bouquet is the subject. It is being presented, means was presented. This action is being done upon the bouquet. Sheila prepared this project during the holidays. So over here, Sheila is the subject. She is the doer of the action. What action is she doing? She has prepared this project. So verb is prepared and Sheila is doing the action. So we know it is in the active voice. Now we want to transform this sentence into passive voice. So what do we have to do? We have to change the subject. So instead of Sheila, now the subject will be the project. This project was prepared by Sheila during the holidays. So this project is the subject and the rest of the sentence becomes the predicate. And we see that now this project is the subject and was prepared by Sheila. So was prepared is the action which is being done to the project. The workers are demolishing the entire building. So over here, the workers is the subject, are demolishing is the verb. So the subject is performing the action. The subject is the doer of the action. So we know that the sentence is in the active voice. We want to transform it into passive voice. So we have to now change the subject. So instead of the workers, the entire building becomes the subject. So the entire building is being demolished by the workers. Now when you read the new sentence, you see that the entire building is the subject. The rest of the sentence is the predicate. And the action that is being demolished is being done to the entire building. So the sentence is now in the passive voice. Why did he deprive you of your property? It's a question. Now when you read this, why did he, that is the subject, deprive you of your property, that part of the sentence is the predicate. And we know that the subject has done the action of depriving of the property. So the subject is he and deprive is the verb and he is the doer of the action of depriving. So the sentence is in the active voice. Now we want to transform the sentence into the passive voice. How do we do that? We change the subject. We write, why were you deprived of your property by him? So now you, why were you? That is the first part of the sentence which becomes the subject. The second part of the sentence, deprived of your property by him, becomes the predicate. And now you is the subject, deprived of, that is the action. It is being done upon the subject you. So the sentence is now in the passive voice. A car had to be rented by them for sightseeing. A car is the subject. Had to be rented by them is the predicate. Now here we see that the car, the subject, is not doing any action. Rather the action is being done upon the car. What action? Had to be rented. So this entire thing had to be rented. This action of getting rented is being done upon the car, upon the subject. So the sentence is in the passive voice, not the active voice. We are going to transform this sentence from passive to active now. They had to rent a car for sightseeing. So what are we doing here? We are changing the subject to they. So they becomes the subject. Had to rent a car for sightseeing is the predicate. And now what are they doing? They are the doer of the action. Had to rent. That is the verb. Who is performing this action? They. So here the subject is the doer of the action. Hence the sentence is in the active voice. His wallet was picked by someone in the crowded compartment. So his wallet is the subject. Was picked by someone in the crowded compartment is the predicate. Here we see that was picked by someone. So the wallet, the action was the wallet getting picked and it is being performed upon the subject, that is the wallet. So his wallet is the receiver of the action, not the doer of the action. So the sentence is in the passive voice. Now we want to change it into active voice. So for that we have to change the subject. Someone picked his wallet in the crowded compartment. Here immediately someone is the subject. It becomes the subject. Picked his wallet in the crowded compartment becomes the predicate. The action is picking the wallet. So picked is the verb and this someone is performing this action. This someone is the doer of the action. Hence the sentence is in the active voice. He will be nominated as the class prefect by the teachers. The sentence can be divided as he is the subject, will be nominated as the class prefect by the teachers is the predicate, will be nominated is the verb. And over here, this verb or this action is being done upon the subject he. So the sentence is in the passive voice. Let us transform it into active voice. First of all, we are changing the subject. The teachers will nominate him as the class prefect. So the teachers are the subject, will nominate him as the class prefect, that is the predicate, Will nominate is the verb or the action that is being done. And who is doing the action? The action is being done by the teachers. So now the sentence is transformed into the active voice. Nothing can be gained without perseverance. Now over here, nothing is the subject. Can be gained without perseverance is the predicate. The action is the action of gaining something. So can be gained is the verb or the action. Now this action is being done upon nothing, that is the subject. Hence the sentence is in the passive voice. Here we are not talking about somebody directly gaining something. It's about can be gained. So that means the action is being performed upon the subject. Let us transform this sentence into the active voice. We can simply add a subject over here by writing, because nothing can be gained without perseverance. It's a statement. It's just a declaration that somebody makes. It can be spoken to somebody or to a group of people, right? So you can put a subject here such as you cannot gain anything without perseverance, or you may write he cannot gain, she cannot gain, they cannot gain. Okay, it does not matter. I have used you. You cannot gain anything without perseverance. So over here, you is the subject, cannot gain anything. The action of not gaining anything is being performed by you. So you is the doer of this action. So you is the subject, cannot gain anything without perseverance is the predicate over here. And the sentence now turns into active voice. I am fascinated by the Avengers movie. So I is the subject, am fascinated by. So the action of being fascinated, am fascinated is the verb, and the action is being done upon the subject. So the subject is getting fascinated. So the sentence is now in the passive voice. Let us convert it into active voice. The first thing that we will do is we will change the subject. The Avengers movie fascinates me. So the Avengers movie is the subject, fascinates is the verb or the action. So now the action of fascination is being done by the subject. So that is why the sentence is now in the active voice. I cleaned my room in a hurry since mother was in a bad mood. So I is the subject, cleaned my room. That is the action which is taking place. So I is the subject and cleaned is the verb. And the entire second part, clean my room in a hurry since mother was in a bad mood, that is the predicate. So I is the subject and I is the doer of the action of cleaning. So the sentence is in the active voice. Let us change it into passive. Again, we simply change the subject. My room was cleaned by me in a hurry since mother was in a bad mood. So now my room becomes the subject. Was cleaned by me. So that means the action is being done upon the room, upon the subject. So my room, that is the subject, was cleaned by me in a hurry since mother was in a bad mood is the predicate. And the entire sentence is now in the passive voice. These loud noises are driving me crazy. These loud noises, that is the subject, are driving me crazy is the predicate. So are driving, that is the action. So the action is being performed by the subject, that is these loud noises. Therefore it is in the active voice. Now we want to transform the sentence into passive. So first of all, we change the subject. I am being driven crazy by these loud noises. So I is the subject now, am being driven crazy. So am being driven, that is the verb or the action that is being performed upon the subject I. By whom? By these loud noises. So I is the subject now, am being driven crazy by these loud noises is the predicate, and the entire sentence is now in the passive voice. We do not have to do our physical training every day. We is the subject. Do not have to do our physical training every day is the predicate. Do not have to do, that is the action of not doing. And it is being performed by the subject we. So we is the doer of the action of not doing. So the sentence is in the active voice. Now let us transform it into passive. First of all, we change the subject. Our physical training becomes the subject. does not have to be done every day becomes the predicate. Does not have to be done, that is the action. Does not have to be done means this action is being done upon the subject. By whom? By us. In fact, if you look at it that way, someone could easily write the sentence as physical training does not have to be done every day by us. Instead of writing such a long sentence, we can simply shorten it by writing it in this way. Our physical training does not have to be done. So instead of do not have to do, in the passive voice it becomes as does not have to be done. So the action is still being performed upon the subject. So the sentence is in the passive voice. She is not supposed to eat too many chocolates. She is the subject. Is not supposed to eat too many chocolates is the predicate. Is not supposed to eat, that is the action. So she is the doer of the action of not supposing to eat. So that is why it is in the active voice. Let us convert it to passive. Let us change the subject first. So too many chocolates, that is now the subject, are not supposed to be eaten by her. So now the action is are not supposed to be eaten. That is the action part, and the action is being performed upon the subject, that is too many chocolates. Hence, the sentence is in the passive voice. I hope I have been able to help you with active and passive voice. I am giving you a few sentences over here for practice. Please post your answers in the comment section below. I will definitely read the comments and help you regarding this. Thank you very much.